Alrighty. Next day here. Got the parts. Ready for reassembly. So we're gonna remove our rag. Actually, put a dabble of fresh wreck grease on it. I greased up the axle shaft itself, but this is a bearing. And yeah, it's supposed to have differential fluid basically feed it and keep it lubricated, but red temp grease is not going to hurt it in the least due to the seal too. Make sure nothing starts out dry. It's the worst thing in the world for it. Try to get this past the strut without collecting a bunch of dirt. Okay, so here's where that clip is doing its job on the inside. There we go. Boom. Just like that. You heard it click in, so got this all lubricated nice and well. We'll probably apply a little bit more inside the new CV shaft too before we put it on. But that being said, I think we can start full reassembly. We'll grab that new CV shaft. Alright. CV shaft is lubricated and ready to go. It's a messy job. Might have to take off this other glove. It's covered in grease. The CV shaft itself is clean, so. Okay guys, so this part, I'm going to be 100% honest with you, is sped up times 20. I did run into some difficulty getting that circlip to basically relax enough to go on or make it past the notch so it could clip in. I eventually did get it, but I had to use my brother's help. It probably would be way more helpful to have that strut out of the way. Clearly you can see my foot holding it down. I ended up, like I said, it's because the torque on that strut, I don't have a wrench for it strong enough. It's like 407 foot-pounds, and I did not want to undo that bottom strut nut if possible. And I was able to get it with my brother's help. Like I said, he held it down, and then I ended up having him in there, and eventually we're both hammering on, but we get it right here. Alright, easy peasy lemon squeezy, as you could see. Now it's time to start the reassembly process. Which this is everyone's favorite part. Now let's see that in an instant replay. It's gonna be the pain in the butt part. So, if you were wondering, the foot-pounds on this is 30. Set your torque wrenches and your number 2 pencils to 30 foot-pounds for the upper strut mounting bolts, which is basically not much. You can hear that click already. Double check it, triple check it. If anything, you can go just a little past 35 or so, it ain't gonna hurt much. Let's move on to the next one. Alright, boys and girls, we're gonna make sure that's recording. Can't even tell, it's so bright out here. You're gonna set your number 2 pencils and torque wrenches to 111 foot-pounds. Double check it. 110 plus 1. 111 foot-pounds. And like I say, go ahead and give it a double tap just to make sure. There we go. And no cotter pin, but we did put some Loctite on it, and it does have the nylon threads on it, so it's a lock and wash. Washer. All right, let's move on to, I do believe the upper control arm's next, or actually the CV axle, so we'll go and get that situated. So we're doing multiples here because it kind of ties in all three at once: lower ball joint, upper control arm ball joint, and steering knuckle. So the lower was 111, 85 on the upper, and the steering knuckle, the tie rod end is, I believe, 85 also. So 85, 85. And the size on that. By the way, down here is 24 millimeter. Upper. Oh, it's a 21. Upper ball joint is a 21. Might need to get a deep socket for it though. We'll see if we can get away with those. And it also does not have a cotter pin, so I did do a thread locker on it. Now we're getting the tough part. 85 for the upper, 85 for the tie rod end. Let's go and set your number 2 pencils and your torque wrenches to set accordingly. 85. Need to use an extension. It's got kind of a crooked angle. Not my favorite to use an extension with the torque wrench, but I'd rather get on there solid. There we go. And then on your swap over on your tie rod end, since it's a castle nut, when you go to tighten it down, if it doesn't line up, just go a hair past it until you get it lined up. Still a lot of room to go. And now we can put 85 foot-pounds on it. There we go. And our castle nut, the hole's lined up. Should be able to get a cotter pin through there. Yeah, can get that through. Should be able to get one through. If not, I'll give it an extra turn. So, I believe that is a 13. Just forgot about this guy here. No? 14? Yep, 14. On the end of the CV axle that goes through the four-wheel drive actuator. So you got all kinds of groish in here, but we can also put a little dab of Loctite on it. We could also clean it. It does not have any pressure. All it does is retains it from coming out. But, no. It's up to you. 13 foot-pounds. I need to get a new nozzle for this. It's leaking everywhere. Put your cap back on. Ding. Coming along nicely. So I figure I'd use this as a good interval to update you here. Brake caliper mounting bolts, the big old fat ones on the backside, are probably the biggest pain in the ass to remove and put on because they're 184 foot-pounds. So once I get that mounted up, still got to do the sway bar that I dropped down. I did not loosen this side, but the front side of the lower control arm, upper control arm, both sides, and then we're done. But this one here's a big pain in the butt. I believe it is a 21 millimeter. Whoa, this one only goes up to 150, so I gotta get the big boy. Give me a minute. The socket behind. That's a big son of a bitch. It left the fucking socket behind. There I thought the brake mounting caliper bolts were the worst. So lower control arm to frame, 258 foot-pounds. So unless you've got one of these, I just don't know how you're gonna do it. This thing goes up to 300 foot-pounds. Not that you'd ever use it. The lower strut, 406 foot-pounds. Ow. I don't know. Supposedly that's all she wrote for that. So definitely gonna need to get an alignment done after this, because I noticed some of the bolts, they're not landing back in their clean spots amongst the dust. So it's probably not a bad idea, even if you land it in the correct spots, just go get an alignment done. So we got everything assembled. We got the tire partially on. We're going to torque down these to 150 foot-pounds. We have to set it down on the ground and then tighten the upper control arm bolts, and then we're done. So now we can double check our measurements from the other day. So from the ground to the top tire should still be the same. 31 inches, I mean, unless you burned off some rubber. Ground to fender, 39 inches. And top of tire to fender, 8.5. Yep, 8.5. So I mean, we're spot on. So let's tighten it down. It is 111 foot-pounds on each one. So here's the booger of the thing, is trying to get this done. One, with the tire in the way, but two, with the camera. So let's see if we can make this happen. I do believe the fender flare here comes out if you wanted to make more room. This whole thing, it's like some Christmas trees always around here and a couple on the inside. If you want to go through the effort of doing that. I just did not feel like it this time. Okay, so we got that hooked up. And the inside nut is 11/13. Or 13/16. 13/16. There we go. So that is pretty much all it takes to completely do your suspension on your own 12th generation F-150. So this is a 2012. It has 33,000 miles on it right now. And this is the second time I'm doing this in less than a year. It's because I picked a very poor brand. TRQ through eBay, not the CV joint. Just the upper control arm, lower ball joint. Save a buck, fix your truck. You know what I mean? So I spent a little bit more. I got lifetime warranty through O'Reilly's. So even if it has to be done again in a year, at least there's no cost. I just have to take it off and take it back in and say, fix this crap. But with all being said, please give this a thumbs up, a like. If you guys enjoyed it, if you'd like to share with your friends, leave a comment down below. The thumbs up or the likes definitely help with the algorithm on YouTube. So we can help other people find this information. But like I said, with all that being said, thank you guys for love and support, and we'll catch you in the next one.